Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. It's your girl Rochelle from Rochelle.Handmade.Designs, and in this video I'm going to be sharing what I picked up last weekend during the Mccall'S and Know Me $1.99 sale. Now before we get started, I want to say welcome. If you are new to the channel, welcome. Hello, ciao, guten tag, aloha, hola, konnichiwa, wagua, waguan, sambanani, bonjour. If you are returning, you know what to do. Go get your quick snack, something to drink, come on back so we could go ahead and get into these patterns that I picked up. It's not a lot of them. I think it's about 10, give or take. I think it's like really 8, give or take. But I wanted to share with you guys what I actually picked up between what I was thinking of picking up and what I actually picked up. And many of you asked me if I would share the patterns that I picked up during the Mccall'S sales last weekend. All right, so without further ado, I'm gonna go ahead and get it right into this video. One thing I want to say is I am not under the weather. However, I have a migraine headache today, so I am struggling right now. So I decided to still put this video out outside of that, but I'm gonna try to take my time, go through them in details, but not take a long time, because you guys know I like to keep these videos short, sweet, and to the point. All right, so let's go ahead and get started with the first pattern. The first pattern is Mccall'S 8257. Now this pattern was one that I mentioned as part of my spring collection. I was waiting for the sale to go on sale. This pattern reminds me of an older pattern that I have, which is Mccall'S 7757. One thing with this pattern, I picked it up strictly for view C and view E, but for this pattern, I am just wanting to do the pull-on pants this time around, which is view E on the pattern. I feel like a bright color pair of pull-on pants would do amazing tricks for my spring collection. So that's what I picked it up for, view E, and this pattern is 8257. All right, moving on to the next one. If you really want to know more details about this pattern, it's just a vintage 90s pattern. I'm sorry, 70s pattern. It's vintage 1976, which was reissued for sure into a more modern for your 2000 and beyond individuals. So view C is what I plan on doing with that elastic waist. Yes, baby. All right, moving on to the next pattern. It's 8358. Now, I picked this one up because it's another vintage pattern, but that's not what I was here for. The vintage pattern, which is, they just basically reissued this Laura Ashley pattern, which was a vintage 1970s wrap dress sewing pattern. Now, the reason why I picked it up is I like both views, view A, the square neckline, and then also view B, which is also like a cross neckline. But this pattern is very unique because you can make the front the back and the back the front. You could turn it around and all that good stuff. So that's why I picked it up. Also, Brittany J. Jones did a video where she was thinking of sewing this pattern. When she detailed how she was wanting to sew this pattern, at that time it was not in my store, so I decided to grab it this time around. Now, the view that I plan on doing is definitely view A. Now, you guys know how I feel about these tiers, but I feel like, view A would, be of more interest to me. One thing that I would do differently is instead of having an exposed type ruffle like view A, I would make that just kind of like a tiered ruffle where it's hidden instead of on top. That's the only difference that I would do for my dress. But this is one of the dresses that I do want to sew during the summertime. So it is an easy pattern. And once again, it's Mccall'S 8358. All of these are Mccall'S, so I'm not going to say Mccall'S 50 million times. And I did not pick up any Know Me patterns this time around because I already had those. All right, moving over to the next pattern. It's 8361. It is a Mrs. dress. There is a plus size pattern for this one as well, if you are interested. Now, this is more of a shirt dress. You guys know Battle of the Shirt Dresses is going on right now. So am I going to sew this one for Battle of the Shirt Dress? Guess what? I don't know. Okay, because I do have one already in mind. Now, you guys know I'm not a big fan of a lot of cutouts, but this one speaks to me because I feel like that piece in the center, I can definitely expand it and also create another piece in the back to where it's not a lot showing, just kind of like a little sexy cutout on the sides. Okay, I do feel like I want to sew this one during the summertime as well, probably towards a summer wardrobe. I'm thinking about doing, but I have not put all of those pieces together because I want to finish off with my spring capsule wardrobe as well. But this one, I feel like view A and view C would be what I would be looking for. Now, you guys know I'm in Florida, so view B is not, you know, the ideal on what I want to be sewing together, but it could make sense for like a September where it's not super duper hot, but I don't think I would actually do the entire dress because it does start getting colder in like November. Okay, so view B seems like more of that time frame, but I don't think I would actually make the long sleeve, to be honest. I think view A and view C would be more of what I would look to make. All right, so moving on to the next pattern. It is 8367, which is a pair of shorts and pants. They're pull on. Mimi G has a sew along for this pattern. Now for me, you guys know I love a pair of shorts. It's no secret whatsoever. But for this pattern, when I first seen it and I did the release, I was all interested in B, and I'm still interested in B. View C is nice. However, I don't need another pair that has the leg bands for sure with a whole bunch of elastics. So I feel like the flowy style pants of view B would work best for what I like at this time. So that's what I'm looking at doing. I think for this one, I will look to do this pattern more towards the fall time, because like I said, it gets hot in Orlando, Florida. So I'm not looking to make these, not the pants like summertime or anything like that, more towards like either early spring next year or like towards the fall time. I think it would be perfect for that. But this is 8367. Move it over to the next pattern is 8368. Now you guys know I normally do not do a lot of knit stuff because it's just super duper hot. However, Brittany J. Jones does have a tutorial up on the Mccall'S website, I believe, Mccall'S YouTube channel or something like that, for this pattern. Now, she did view B and view C on for hers, and that's the exact same, you know, views that I would do as well, view B and C for this pattern. I just feel like I said before, I'm not a fan of cutouts. However, you can mix and match this as well. You could actually make this as a one-piece like jumpsuit if you attach view B to view C, or you can make it as separates where you have view B separate than view C. That's just a couple of options that you can do if you choose to. But for me, I do not want to make it as a jumpsuit, so I would make them separately with view B and view C for this pattern. Once again, it is 8368. Next one is 8370. Alyssa from Alyssa Thread, she did the sew along for this pattern for Mccall'S, view A and view B. Now, I'm going to be honest with you guys. When I first seen this pattern, I was like, oh yes. I picked it up, and now I'm kind of like on the fence of if I would sew this one together. And a couple of reasons is I would definitely lengthen the skirt, to be honest. And then for the jacket, I would probably make it as a kind of like a throw-on type jacket or whatnot. I do use tweed and I do use some jacquard. I have both of those in my stash. However, I do not wear it on an everyday basis, so I don't know how much wear I would get out of this pattern, to be honest, if I'm being honest with myself. So even though I picked it up, I may consider taking it back because I don't feel like I would actually use tweed in order to do this pattern. I do, like I said, I have jacquard in there and it may look great in jacquard. So I would play around with it and see, you know, just think about it, take a pause for the cause and think about it before deciding if I'm going to take this pattern back or not. But once again, it's 8370. The next one is 8371. Now, I picked this pattern up for a couple of reasons. Like, you guys know I like to do jackets and coats towards the end of the year. I did not pick this pattern up for my husband. I picked it up for myself, okay? I do not pick up patterns normally for my husband. I always pick them up for myself and decide if I want to sew it or not. You know, so that's what I do. But this is a men's jacket. You know, I literally picked it up for what the guy is wearing on View D. I like that, you know, it does have that, you know, internal waist belt and buckle for sure. I like that detail on this jacket. I do plan on sewing this pattern together by the fall time for sure. Now, before you guys ask me, are you gonna do a sew along for? Because you guys know, anytime you guys do not see a sew along, that's one of the things you guys ask me. I don't like to promise you guys any sew alongs outside of the ones that I already have already told you that I was gonna do. So for this one, I do plan on sewing it. If I decide to do a sew along, I will post it. If I might do something like behind the scenes or something of me sewing it together, because this is an average to sew pattern. And it does require like metal snaps and stuff like that, you know, a separating zipper, things of that sort. So I don't know if I would actually do a sew along to something like this, but you never know. I may decide to do ones, but this is 8371. Next pattern is 8357. Now this one is a vintage 50s pattern. I noticed I just picked up a whole bunch of vintage patterns, but hear me out, okay? So I do like the square neckline of this one as well. I do like View A and View B. So View B is more of like the shirt. For this, they call it like a jacket. Has a front button closure and contrast on the collar and cuffs as well. But I think for me, the reason why I picked it up, because I can see it as an easy black and white blouse that you can actually cover up the top portion of your dress and make it like a jacket with a skirt. It could look that way. But I can see past the line art and the pattern front to actually be a great pattern. So that's why I went ahead and picked it up, but I am more interested in both View A and View B. And I could see this as being a color block, a gorgeous color block for this dress, or something like a striped fabric would work as well for this one. I have, you know, some plans for this one. I don't know when I would be able to sew it up right this second, but I did go ahead and pick it up. All right. And the last pattern I picked up is Mccall'S 8375, which is a bag pattern. Now, you guys know in the summertime, I love to make bags to go as accessories to go with things that I have sewn. And this is the way that I could use up all my scrap fabric. You guys don't act like y'all don't know about these scrap fabrics, okay? Like, you guys have fabrics that you guys are trying to get rid of as well. So this is the easiest way for me to go ahead and pull out my bucket of scraps and sew some bags and, you know, wristlets and wallets and clutches and stuff like that up during the summertime. All right. But this is 8375. Well, that's it for what I picked up during the Mccall'S and Know Me pattern sale last weekend for $1.99. Since you made it this far, do not forget to hit that like button, subscribe button, and also turn on the notification bell so you are notified every time I upload a new video. So I'll catch you in the next video, and as always,
too many, I'm going too crazy, and I got bad ones and they ready. A good time, so now it's into it, we left that. Can't remember anything, but I know we got lit.